Hello everyone, my name is Ashwin Joglekar and I am from Resonance PCCP division. Today we will continue with our chapter Consumer Rights. So previously we had seen about creating the need for consumer movements and why there is consumer rights as an aspect necessary in today's scenario. Now what are the consumer rights that we are going to discuss today? Okay, so first of all, consumer rights. That is first point, safety is everyone's right. Now while using many of the goods and services, they might also be hazardous to our use. So what the person who is manufacturing these goods should give a guarantee or should at least have its quality measured so that while using it you are not hurt. That is, while using many goods and services, we as consumers have the right to be protected against the marketing of goods and delivery of services that are hazardous to life and property. Producers need to strictly follow the required safety rules and regulations. Example, pressure cookers have a safety valve which, if it is defective, can cause a serious accident. The manufacturers of the safety valve have to ensure high quality. Public or government action is also required to see that this quality is maintained. Second one is information about goods and services. Now generally, if you take a food packet, so many of the things you will see are mentioned: the date of manufacturing, date of expiry, the maximum retail price and the lot number, the address of the manufacturer, and all these things. The ingredients which are used are also mentioned. So information about goods and services. Consumers have the right to be informed about the particulars of goods and services that they purchase. Consumers can then complain and ask for compensation or replacement of that particular product if it proves to be defective in any manner. Similarly, one can protest and complain if someone sells goods at more than the printed price on the packet. This is indicated by MRP, that is the maximum retail price. In fact, consumers can also bargain with the seller to sell the products at a lesser MRP. In October 2005, the Government of India enacted the Right to Information Act, which again ensures citizens all the information about the functioning of the government departments. But not all departments are covered in this. Now, again, when choice is denied, that is, any consumer who receives a service in whatever capacity, regardless of age, gender and nature of service, has the right to choose whether to continue that service or to discontinue it, to continue to receive the service or not. Consumers can choose the product from the given alternatives. In case of a single supplier, consumer must be assured of a quality and a price of the good. Fourth one is right to seek redressal. That in case if there is a problem, you should be able to approach the courts. Consumers have the right to seek redressal against unfair trade practices and exploitation. If any damage is done to the consumer, he or she has the right to get compensation depending upon the degree of the damage. Finally, right to represent. COPRA has enabled the consumers to have the right to represent in the consumer courts. The enactment of COPRA has led to the setting up of various departments of consumer affairs in central as well as state governments. That is, consumer court, you can see quick verdicts in just 10 years. That's a bit of sarcasm that has been used here. Okay, where should consumers go to get justice? Now, the consumer courts or movement in India has led to the formation of various organizations locally known as consumer forums or consumer protection councils. They guide consumers on how to file a particular case, how to go about it. On many occasions, they also represent individual consumers in the consumer courts. These voluntary organizations also receive financial support from the government for creating awareness among the people. Under COPRA, that is again a three-tier quasi-judicial machinery at the district, state and national level has been set up for the redressal of the consumers' disputes. The district level court deals with the cases involving claims up to 20 lakhs, then from 22 lakhs to 1 crore is at the state level, between 20 lakhs and 1 crore, and the national level court deals with cases involving claims exceeding 1 crore. If a case is dismissed in district level court, the consumer then again can approach the further courts, level court, that is state level court, or then in national level courts. Fourth one is Steps taken by government for protection of consumers. First one is legislative step, that is various acts have been formed. The most important of them is the Consumer Protection Act of 1986, which is known as COPRA, COPRA, to solve the consumer grievances that are problems in a speedy, simple and inexpensive manner. And under this again 3 types of courts have been established. Separate departments for consumer welfare have been established in both central and state governments. Administrative steps, that is public distribution systems, have been established for preventing the exploitation of consumers, that is they are also known as fair price shops. Government tries to prevent illegal ways of making profit like hoarding and black marketing. Technical steps, government again has established various agencies for developing standard for various products and to check their and certify the products according to their quality or standards. In India, 2 agencies are responsible for it, that is Bureau of Indian Standards, BIS, sets the standard for industrial products, checks them and certifies them with ISI mark. Now this ISI mark you would have seen on your LPG cylinders, also probably on the helmets and other things. Through regular surveillance and taking samples both from market and factories ensures the standards of the product. Egg mark, that is used for food related products, established under the Ministry of Agriculture, is responsible for certifying the food and agriculture products. Then again one is hallmark, that is used for standardizing the jewelry which is used. Now learning to become a well informed consumer, ultimately it all depends on the person, right? If a consumer is well informed, he will be aware, he or she will be aware about their rights and nobody will try to exploit them. So when we as consumers become conscious of our rights while purchasing various goods and services, we will be able to discriminate and make informed choices, that is asking for a bill whenever we make a purchase. This calls for acquiring the knowledge and skills to become a well informed consumer. The enactment of COPRA has led to setting up of different departments of consumer affairs, but again this is just a step. We have to walk that step. In central and state governments, which releases posters and other information about legal process again for the people. Now if you can see here the advertisements which tell people about it, just which they have used here, Jago Grahak Jago. Now as a consumer, what can be your duty? Checking the quality and quantity of the product which we are purchasing. Must check the quality and quantity. He should insist on the warranty card and should always buy products which are ISI or egg mark, have been marked with that. Cash memo, that is again a bill. Consumer should ask for cash memo for the items purchased. Consumer awareness organizations must make complaint if he or she feels cheated. For their genuine grievances, they should take the help of consumers organization in seeking redressal for their grievances. Rights, consumer must know their rights and must exercise them. Finally, taking the consumer movement forward, India has been observing 24th December as the National Consumers Day. It was on this day that the Indian Parliament had enacted the Consumer Protection Act in 1986. India is one of the countries that has exclusive courts for the consumer redressal. Consumer movement in India has made some progress in terms of organizing them. There are today more than 700 consumer groups in the country, and of which only about 20 to 25 are well organized and recognized for their work. So still a lot of work still needs to be done. The consumer redressal process is becoming cumbersome, that is again burdened with huge time taking, expensive and time consuming. Many a times consumers are required to engage lawyers, that becomes costly for them. These cases require time for filing and attending the court proceedings, etc. In most purchases, cash memos are not issued, hence evidence is not easy to gather. Moreover, most purchases in the market are small retail sales. The existing laws are also not very clear on the issue of compensation to consumer created by the defective products. After 20 years of enactment of COPRA, again consumer awareness in India is still spreading out. It's still not exactly how we were idealizing it, but still we are in a infant stage, still growing stage. Besides this, the enforcement of laws that protect workers, especially in unorganized sectors, is again weak. Similarly, rules and regulations for working of markets are again often not followed. Nevertheless, there is still scope for consumers to realize their role and importance, and it is often again said that consumer movements can be effective only with the consumers' active involvement. It requires a voluntary effort on the part of the consumers and struggle involving the participation of one and all. So this brings us to the end of the chapter. Thank you so much.